person who enters the country illegally shall be imprisoned for not less than 10 years and may be imprisoned for any term of years or for life. And I just can't make heads or tails of what that means. And I'm sure that's a drafting error. That is not the fault of the author, but that's got to be cleaned up.
Well, just a few things, Mr. McGovern. Thank you for allowing the discussion. But in terms of being sentenced to life for just a second illegal reentry, that's not the full picture. For up to a life sentence, you have to receive a felony conviction and then be deported and then returned. Secondly, there is no compulsion to charge this. So yes, it is an added tool in terms of the prosecutorial discretion. The aim of this is surely for someone who has been convicted, who has been deported, and then returns here illegally. But again, there's nothing that would compel a prosecutor to charge this. And if someone is just deported and they return, there's no conviction on their record. There is no allowance for a mandatory minimum. Does that make sense? So there has to be a conviction under the statute, then they're deported, and then they would be subject to the enhanced penalties. But in terms of the targeted class of defendants, this is for what Mr. Raskin said earlier in his statement. I will stipulate that the existing framework is no deterrent. And there are numerous examples of people who are deported from this country and they return because the current cap is 2 years. And the way that practically plays out is they're charged with illegal reentry. They have an attorney appointed to them. They fight the charges, they plea negotiate, and by the time they say, you know what, I'll plead guilty here, almost 2 years has gone up. So they get time served and they're either released or they're deported. So there does need to be, in my estimation, a greater deterrent for illegal reentry, and that's what this bill aims to do. So again, just to correct it slightly, someone cannot receive a life sentence for just illegal reentry. There has to be convictions that are in the record before the deportation. If they choose to come back illegally, they could be subjected to enhanced penalties. But again, if you're not convicted of a felony and you don't illegally reenter, this law does not touch you.
Mr. Raskin?
Well, I appreciate the clarification. If somebody's just removed, you're saying, without a conviction, then they could not be sentenced to life. But if they are convicted of a second illegal entry,
that's correct,
then they could be held for life. So all of which is to say, if you've gone through the process, you have two offenses, and one was you came into the country illegally and you were convicted of it, and two, you came back into the country illegally and you were convicted of it. You could spend the rest of your life in prison and the taxpayers would have to pay for that. And I guess I don't see the logic of that.